This video showcases pre-release gameplay. Nothing shown in this video is a representation of Bungie or the final product. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the most important things I've learned, along with a few helpful tips for new runners who are just getting started and want a smoother experience jumping into raids. These tips are in no particular order, and if I'm wrong about any information, please let me know in the comments. Heat is the main mechanic you'll be constantly interacting with in Marathon. If you're new, think of it as your stamina bar, but instead of draining, your heat builds up to a peak. Once it's maxed out, you can't sprint or slide until it cools all the way down. There happen to be several ways to reduce both the amount of heat you generate and how fast you cool down after. Standing in pools of water scattered around the maps will grant you stacks of cooling, shown with the teal thermometer icon beneath your heat bar, with the amount of down arrows beside it showing how many stacks you have. Different depths of water will grant you different stacking amounts, with shadow puddles only granting 1 and knee-height pools granting 3. Super cool thing to mention, by the way, is that the rain will also grant varying levels of this buff depending on how hard it's falling. Light showers are 1, while torrential storm grants a full 3. Implants can boost your stats, and consumables like the cardio kick can make a huge difference. What's a cardio kick? It's one of the many consumables in the game that directly impacts your stats. Stats in Marathon are the lifeblood of your builds, and one of the many ways you can mold your character into that cybernetic killing machine. To give you an idea on how to tune your shells, here's a list of the stats and what their respective passives or active benefits are. Heat capacity increases your heat capacity. Agility increases your movement speed and allows you to jump higher. Loot speed increases how fast loot reveals itself in the container you're searching. Melee damage increases the damage you deal with a melee. Prime recovery lowers the cooldown of your prime ability. Tactical recovery lowers the cooldown of your tactical ability. Self-repair speed increases your self-repair speed for your shield and health. Finishing siphon increases how much your shield siphons from the enemies after finishing them. Revive speed increases your revive speed, yourself and your teammates. Hardware reduces the duration of hazardous mechanical status effects like immobilize, overheat, toxin, and frost. Firewall reduces the duration of hazardous operating system status effects like EMP and hack. Fall resistance reduces the damage you take from falling. Ping duration increases the ping duration when you ping an enemy. Another consumable that directly affects your stats is the Mechanics Kit, which increases your hardware stat for a short duration and removes the hazardous mechanical status effects like frost, immobilize, overheat, and toxin. I think the duration might have been around 30 seconds or so. While I'm not sure how long the duration will be in the full release, it's important to think of these stats as sort of like the physical state of your runner, making the Mechanics Kit your go-to for preventing and repairing negative effects on the outer body. An OS reboot increases your firewall stat for a short duration, around 30 seconds, and it removes status effects like EMP and hack. Both the OS reboot and the Mechanics Kit have the advanced version that lasts longer, around 300 seconds, and add a buffer against hostile data corruption. I'll probably do a more in-depth video on these items and status effects when I can play the game again with more accurate info and better footage of me using them. On that, there's even a consumable that boosts your abilities too. Energy Amp shortens cooldowns though by how much may have changed in the full release. Antivirus packs, or HEC kits as they were called in the tests, add a buffer against hostile data corruption. There's a signal jammer that gives you a distorted visual effect on your character, though I can't remember if it does anything else. Keep in mind that in the full release it may have more passives or active defenses that we didn't get to see in the playtest. The other consumables are your basic healing consumables, shield charges, and patch kits, which have multiple different rarities ranging from depleted, which only fill your health and shields a small amount, to advanced, which heal you a large amount. Speaking of healing, one thing Marathon does fantastic is their smart heal system. What I mean by that is in the radial menu that houses your buff items like your heals and mechanic kits, instead of manually switching between them all whenever you need one, all you need to do is select Smart Heal, and the game auto-equips what you need in that situation. Like if your shield is broken, it switches to a shield charge, or if you get hit by a chem grenade, it will switch to a mechanics kit. You still have to press the button to heal, but the game does most of the heavy lifting. The Panacea kit is a full heal and removes all hazardous status effects. There's also a self-revive item that if it's in your inventory, you can revive yourself with it. You can also move and use it as well, but you want to be careful where and when to use it because it's quite loud. In Marathon, your runner is in any of 3 states. Either you're alive, you're down but not out, or you're dead but not out. Death isn't the end for you if your squad is still in the fight. After your character dies, your teammates can go get your body bag and reboot you. There will be times when this isn't the case, as Bungie said that the ranked mode will not allow reboot from the grave. And I could have sworn that Cryo Archive, a map Bungie has been very hush-hush about, so I won't show any of my gameplay, also didn't allow reboots. Most people probably already know this, but you get progressively more invisible the slower you move, and it works for all invisibility, not just on the Assassin Shell. For example, during the test before there was a dedicated solo queue, I would no-fill queue with the Assassin Shell. If I couldn't get the advantage in a fight, or I got chased trying to pick off a squad, I'd turn invisible, run out of sight or into the closest building, cut around a corner or two, crouch and stay completely still. The number of times that people would just run right past me was insane. That said, if you're fighting a recon, you better hope she doesn't pop her prime ability, Echo Pulse, before you take that sigh of relief. Melee is actually really strong in Marathon. During the alphas, there were plenty of runs where my friends and I would go in with absolutely nothing and try to ambush players using only our knives. Most of the time, we were surprisingly successful, even without bringing any gear at all. And while it may not always be the best way, it can be an effective zero to hero strat for those loot-starved runners. And by no means am I telling you to do this, but what I mean is in close range fights, instead of reloading, if the enemy's close enough, just go in for the quick melee attack, or fully commit, pull out your knife, and finish the fight. Remember though, melee swings are tied in with your heat system, so watch your heat bar as you melee. Another PvP tip is to throw grenades. As Lord Shaxx is always saying, literally just throw more grenades. They're especially lethal in Marathon, and can pack quite the punch. Not to mention the status effect grenades like the heat, EMP, and chem grenades that create punishable moments that force your enemies to either commit to getting rid of the status effect or fight you. In this extraction shooter, whenever your teammate searches a container, it automatically counts as search for you too. In the earlier Marathon playtest, there was a mechanic we dubbed the power of friendship, where if you and your teammates are searching a container, it gets faster the more people that are searching that container, which I thought was really neat. There are a couple different types of lootables in Marathon. There are valuables that range in size and rarity that auto-sell for credits whenever you extract successfully. And then, there are salvage items that vary in size and rarity that are used in faction upgrade trees, as well as barters to buy stuff from them. Keep a close eye on tables and other surfaces, because you might miss arguably some of the freest loot in the game that can slowly accumulate between your runs. Data cards are the things you'll find around the world and in buildings on Tau Ceti, and are literally the best kind of loot you'll find, as they don't even take up any slots in your inventory, because they automatically transfer between you and your squad's total credit count into your stashes. The amount you find on the ground ranges from 10 to 20, I even found a purple one that was 500 if I remember correctly. If you see these, there's no reason not to pick them up, because it's literally free money. Obviously, opening containers is a huge part of the game, though something odd I noticed during the alphas was that even though players seem to handle the UESC just fine, they seem to hate looting the bodies. And honestly, some of the most useful and rare items came from those bags. Their loot pools seem pretty big, especially some of the more challenging and rare units. So don't just clear the UASC and move on, check the bags, you might be walking past something huge. Claymores are usually pretty easy to hear, but they're not the only thing you need to worry about on Tau Ceti. Some of the buildings can actually spawn trapped, like this one here on Perimeter, so don't just sprint inside without checking. You can shoot the traps to clear them safely, and if you're playing Vandal, you can actually slide right through them, and the explosion will go off right behind you. It's really cool. Sometimes traps mean a boss will spawn there, like this clip on Outpost. Just keep in mind whether you shoot it or set it off, that explosion is loud. And in this game, sound travels pretty far. It can absolutely give away your position to other runners nearby. Oh, and another tip on that heat system, which honestly applies to most extraction games. Slow down. I'm not talking about strategy, I mean literally stop sprinting everywhere. You're way louder when you run in this game, and that sound can be the difference between you ambushing a squad or them getting the drop on you. Be mindful and patient about your surroundings, and pay close attention to the kinds of audio in your area, as not only is the biggest source of information you can gather in a game where your life isn't guaranteed, but I also think it tells you a lot more about your immediate surroundings than you might think. Keep an ear out for the kinds of footsteps you hear. If they're quick, heavy, or methodical, this could be signs of a player charging at you, running away, or trying to position themselves for a kill shot. It's all up to you to decide how you act on this information, but slowing down and gathering the vital information is a key first step. Also, try not to burn through your entire heat bar unless you're in a total emergency, especially if you're out in the open. The amount of times I've been crossing open areas, walking a little to save my heat, and then when I get shot at and I still have enough to sprint for cover, that little bit of heat could mean life or death. Quests are a huge deal in Marathon, as they provide the story, fun mechanics, and gameplay elements. But most importantly, they direct runners towards all parts of the map, so the game feels alive. One thing that's cool about Marathon's quest system is that your fellow runners in your squad can help you complete quest objectives or simply complete them for you, which is awesome for runners who are stuck on a quest and need a little bit of help. Another neat feature in Marathon is whenever your teammates collect it and successfully extract with a rare material, all the members of your squad get that material. For example, my squad completed the Anomalous Rift side objective. I don't really know what it was, but it was really cool, and we all got that prestige yellow rarity material. This was the Anomalous Rift event. We did it, and it wasn't really that hard, but I think that's to do with us not knowing what was going on, and we got really lucky when it spawned on us. I see this event as a PvP hotspot whenever the game releases. I'm unsure if we were pinged on the map for all the other runners in the match to see, but all you have to do is avoid the anomalous pulses, collect the main anomaly. After you've collected that anomaly, it will continue to emit these pulses, which EMP you if you're hit by them. Then, you have to take it to the stabilization device, which should be pinged on your map and HUD after collecting the anomaly. After that, you slam it into the device and get that anomalous sample. I think that's what it was called. I don't have the clip of us extracting, so I don't know exactly what it was called, but I think it was around there. VoIP was another thing that I was so glad that Bungie implemented into Marathon, as it injects a new layer of fun. There have been an uncountable amount of VoIP interactions that I've had in the playtest for Marathon, just from chatting a guy up on the other side of glass before a fight, or having someone beg for their life after you've taken away all their squad mates. Just even trying to VoIP in Marathon could change the outcome of every single interaction you have. I hope this video has been somewhat helpful to anyone joining in on the fun, and I hope to make more videos covering Marathon in the future. These guys let me go with them, that's so fun!